Guardian, we've picked up a high-gain transmission. Origin point is somewhere along the coast, near the Cosmodrome.
Welcome, everybody, to Cosmodrome Radio, episode number 44. It is going to be a very eventful episode, especially after everything that occurred in the past, the 24 hour, 8 hours, everything that's happened in the past 8 hours.
24 hours, you were right on the 24-hour mark.
24 hours? Oh, but it's been 8 hours.
I'd say 36 hours with everything.
Oh, that's fair. TWID plus
okay,
this.
36.
So yeah, things are very
I'd say
eventful.
36 hours TWID plus Twitter.
Everything that's been going on in the Destiny space for a little bit now. Things are going kind of bonkers. So welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for being here for this brand new episode of Cosmodrome Radio. Don't forget that you can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all those great places for brand new episodes that we post after the show is over the next day. That way you can catch that. And don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter at Cosmodrome Radio. And for some reason, you cannot find a link to the show. Go to cosmodromeradio.com. You can find it there. But also, brand new, because we had the Chrono Z raid, we had a brand new shirt design that you can go pick up at shop.cosmodromeradio.com. So go check that out. Check out the merch. It looks dope. Definitely cop that shirt because it is amazing. All right. My name is Pan of the Pound, and you are here at twitch.tv/Pan of the Pound and hanging out with me. But to my bottom, right below me, we have the president of the Zivu Arath fan club, the contrarian to end all contrarians, the man with the sultry voice. David, how you doing, brother?
I don't know. I don't feel like a contrarian. I feel like you're abusing me, and I'll just fuck with you. How you guys doing? I'm all good.
All right. Okay. Then next to him, we have the queen of the casuals, as we love to call her, who advocates for the lesser folks who play on with their 5 kids and their 50 jobs. We love her to death. Tower, how you doing?
Fiona.
Oh,
Hey.
man, that was a call out, and I'm
5
not even sure I
jobs and
appreciate
50
it.
kids. Good God.
But hey, man, you know those people too, though, that will come into a content creators chat, and they'll be like, "Man, I got 5 kids, 50 jobs. How do you expect me to play all this content?" And it's like, really.
Be that way.
But I'm doing all right, hon. I'm doing better than I was earlier.
Excellent.
Sitting, chilling, talking with
out her
my.
door, though.
Yeah, there's cicadas outside. It's September in the Midwest. We love cicadas.
Oh God.
Welcome to the South.
Oh,
We
God.
got 'em
Right?
in
Exactly.
abundance.
Speaking of, we have the spicy one himself that thinks he's in Florida, but he's really in Louisiana. How you doing, Cajun? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Freaking earlier today did solo Ghost of the Deep attempt. Got Ekthar. You bitch you down. But unfortunately, Simaru decided, nah. Who's your mommy? So anyways, fun times.
Oh, Cajun
Shimula was
Brat
like,
Squad in
no.
my TikTok chat. Cajun Brat Squad in my TikTok chat over here, apparently.
Oh,
Ella's
shit.
calling you out. That's funny.
Every day, and I expect no less from her.
Okay, all right. So, hot topics that are going on in the Destiny universe. We will definitely get to the TWID, but man, things got real fucking whack real quick today. Because as we saw at Reset, when Trials of Osiris opened, people figured out that they could go into the Enclave and make some broken shit.
Yeah.
What do I mean? What do I mean for those who don't know? So, I've coined this the Dark Souls glitch because, as some people will know from Dark Souls, there is a glitch in the remastered and in the Prepare to Die edition of Dark Souls 1 that you can overlay certain screens by quickly switching between them. And you can either dupe souls or you could dupe certain items by going to certain setting menus and whatnot. That's kind of happened here, where if you go to the Enclave, you could do some jank shit and make some jank shit. Where you have auto rifles that are shooting like shotguns and grenade launchers. You got SMGs that are shooting like Osteostriga. You got some weird stuff going on. So people are going into Trials of Osiris and getting flawlesses out the wazoo. People are going into PvE content and melting bosses. People are doing some weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it is causing division amongst the Destiny 2 fandom. Because quite literally, Bungie straight up said, hey, we don't know how to fix it. And because it's our mess up, we can't actually ban you for it. Because it's in our TOS. And everyone's like, fair game. But then there's some people who are like, is it though? Like, and it's a very interesting situation because some people are like free flawless, some people are like free raid bosses and things of that nature, but some people are straight up like, hey yo, you're compromising your seals, you're compromising your flawlesses, you're compromising like everything you've ever done in the game. And it's been pretty divisive when on Twitter and Reddit, man. Now.
Yep, and that's the big thing right there is that this is now another one of those issues that is dividing the entire community. And looking at Twitter, so Bungie helped put out stating that they were aware of the issues that's happening, and they're investigating a fix. So basically, Bungie is looking into it, but they currently don't have any plans to disable trials due to this issue.
I think that was a mistake. I will wholeheartedly admit that was a mistake right there.
Yeah. Now, they also followed it up that per our ban policy, players who discover an exploit will not receive in-game restriction or ban. However, any external scripting or network manipulation tools are still bannable offenses and subject to security review. So basically stating that, hey, because of this, you won't get banned for it. But if you do the freaking other shit that is going to violate our TOS, yeah, we will freaking smack you. And then the Destiny 2 team quote tweeted and stated, we're exploring all possible solutions and keeping an eye out in case things get too wild. And we need to take drastic measures to ensure the health of the game. In the meantime, let's all have some fun. Igneous Hammer will come back to trials ASAP. So basically, they're already stating that the Igneous Hammer is going to come back once again, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see it come back next weekend because of this whole situation. But looking through, like I just pulled up Reddit. I've been scared to pull up Reddit. I've been going off.
Now you got me curious.
Okay, I only got it loaded up. I haven't even gone into the post. But just looking at the freaking team's freaking tweet and the responses, Crusader said it best, and this is where we start to get that division within the freaking community, because you've got some people that are like, this is a Bungie win, they're all excited because this reminds us of Prometheus Lens and freaking Telesto going freaking ham in PvP. But Crusader says it best right here. The integrity of all your titles and in-game achievements are all at risk. Soloing raid bosses, every Trials game is a 3-stack Amit. I refuse to exploit because nothing feels earned. Maybe I'm too hardline on this, but for me, none of this can be, quote, fun. Don't think I'm alone here. Several other people, not just content creators, but other players as well, are echoing the same sentiment.
I agree.
That Bungie, right now, this is not a time to let shit fly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. So I will admit, I sat there for a minute. I figured out how to do it. I went into one trials match, and everybody had it, including me. That felt fair. And then after that, I was kind of like, this feels kind of messed up. But and the thing is, I don't have any ill will for anybody who's doing it. Like, if you want to go do your thing, if your moral high ground's out the door, by all means do it. Now, when it comes to PvE, you suspect as hell if you do it. To me, that's a different ballgame. Because let's be real, Trials has already been compromised for years. There's been cheaters, there's been xenophage flying people going across the map doing hooligan shit for years. Trials has been compromised for the longest time. So I don't really, I'm not going to give really an opinion on that one. Trials is a whole mess in its own right. Bungie still hasn't addressed some of the cheaters in that regard. When it comes to PvE, those seals are important. Those seals show a test of skill when it comes to beating challenges, when it comes to doing certain things. Look at Crota. Featherless flight, that challenge right there is insanity. There's certain challenges in this game that you have to do to get those seals. If you do some shit, that's suspect. And I wholeheartedly agree with Crusader. And like I know Sammy Cat said something on it as well. When it comes to that, that is very much like, because like I remember when a few like on the back during season of the Splicer, I worked my butt off to get my my Fatebreaker seal. I couldn't imagine cheating for that in any way.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So, yeah.
And that's kind of where like me as a player right now I'm sitting at, because today I did my second overall attempt for solo Ghost of the Deep, and I got the farthest I've ever gotten. I Strand Titan Banner of War Syntheseps build. I got freaking First Encounter and Ekthar down. I got to Simaru. Simaru is unfortunately showing me who's mommy right now, but I'm gonna fucking fix that. But now I'm at that freaking conundrum. I'm at that impasse. You know, Bungie has greenlit this shit. Now, there's part of me that is all about integrity, all about doing things the right way in order to make sure that I adhere to the challenge requirements, quote unquote. So do I go craft something that's going to be OP, broken, jank as crap, just whiz bang through the freaking whole dungeon to get the solo? That's all I'm really there for, is the solo. I don't give a shit about flawless. I want to get rank 11 by the end of the season. But do I, because Bungie has greenlit it, go freaking craft this, go get the achievement, or do I adhere to the freaking challenge? And that's where it's the internal thing as well, because it's like, I know that some people have cheese things and hoard that achievement over other players as a form of gatekeeping. So if I go and do it, how many players are going to freaking call me out for freaking doing that, for freaking cheesing a solo clear of a dungeon? You know, when it's supposed to be a testament of skill.
Right.
And the thing about it is, like, I will like it's a very divisive topic, and I know, and there was what and Jolly said in chat. Trials takes skill, and there are cheaters in PvE as well. What's the difference? I agree. I'm saying when it comes to Trials, it feels different, and like the thing is, part of me doesn't really want to cast blame on anybody. But at the same time, I know I'm not gonna do it. I know I'm not gonna like compromise my shit. It doesn't feel right. So that's just me. Now, when it comes to the issue of what can Bungie do, a lot of people were like, hey, yo, you need to just straight up like turn all crafted weapons off and be done with it. But then there's some people that have already gone flawless, done what they want to do. So like, do you leave it on until you can fix it? Or do you turn everything off? It's a very backwards thing. But David, I want to see what you think about this real quick, because you've been very quiet.
I'm just listening. My opinion remains the same. If one person can do it, and if everyone can do it, it's a fair playground. Whether you choose to do it or not is up to you. That's your ethics. That's your morals. Now, I don't condone cheating, but I understand that everyone wants this game to be a meritocracy. And I don't think that this is a question or a conversation about whether it's okay to use the exploit or not. I feel like a lot of the conversation is like this destroys the meritocracy of the game, and it brings into question the achievements of those who earned it and those who just took advantage of an exploit to get where they're going. And people feel like that diminishes their success. But in my opinion, the meritocracy of Destiny has been destroyed years ago when people were like doing recubs And the fact that people in trials refuse to like 3-man up and instead go in as a duo to get easier matches, like it really doesn't matter to me. I'm not
You're kind of
gonna
like
say I don't
you've
care.
already kind of thrown your hands up a while ago, is what you're saying.
Like at this point, I'm like, if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. Hey, it don't matter to me. I think if you do it and you like get the achievement or the goal or whatever it is that you wanted, like you wanted that solo flawless banner, like can you really say that you earned it? And can you wear it proudly because you know you didn't earn it fairly? You didn't really do what was required of you. You didn't actually earn it through the merit of your own skill. And when you tell the story of how you got it, are you going to sit here and downplay that you did what you did? Or are you going to tell people straight up, like, yeah, fuck all the bullshit. I just wanted the banner, so I went in, I crafted a god road, it with the one shot capability, and I just went in there and I blasted the lady head off. I just went in, bam, bam, bam. Like, is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, hey, if that's okay with you, it's okay with me. But my question is, if Bungie is gonna like roll this shit back, then they need to roll it back now before this gets out of hand and people start losing their stuff.
Agree.
But if Bungie's okay with it, I'm okay with it in the sense of like, let's play some fucking fun. Like this is a spectacular time to see the psychology of the players and to look at and study what it is that players want to be able to do. Because just as many people are making the meta pick to get through trials, just as many players are just playing around with it and making fun guns.
Oh yeah, like I say, I saw one person who like took a come to pass and put dead messenger on it, and because of how slow the RPM is on come to pass, they were just going like poop 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 poop, like just dropping grenades, and they didn't explode, like they didn't like make a big explosion. They were just like pooping out little eggs of grenades, and it was just funny to watch. It like so like there's some things that are just fun, but like I definitely like I do hear the sentiment of Lived Ones who's in the Twitch chat that's like, for us not so good players, PvP is no fun, but do you know hate? I definitely can see a lot of people who are like, hey, I don't know how to do it. I can't drop below 60 frames to go do the thing. I wanted to go get my first ever igneous hammer, and they're getting their crap kicked in. So I kind of see that side of it as well, where it's like, why do these crazy events occur? I remember when Last Word got, instead of getting its damage cut in half, it got doubled. And you saw the whole trials weekend, Bungie let Last Word run amok. That was a crazy weekend. So it's certain situations like this where it's like you question the decisions Bungie makes, but at the same time, it's like I do kind of still agree with Crusader though, where it's like certain things you work your butt off for. And then there was people on day one of Crota who were in the LFG app going, "Hey, a cheater wanted, a hacker wanted to help me one shot Crota over and over again." We saw it. Like there's clips of it and screenshots of it. Like we saw that occurring. So it very much is a situation of where do you play? Where does your line draw? And it's a very like divisive situation in its own right. For me, I'm like that. That's where I'm at.
And see, already I'm starting to see people like draw the line in the sand. And in this case, well, I'll call out Sammy Can't Plays. They just tweeted this a second ago. I'm taking the night off. This whole exploit and the discussion surrounding it makes me both nervous and increasingly critical. Also, I don't want to spend all stream talking about the bug and then all tomorrow defending the integrity of any completions I may have earned. And that's absolute freaking valid. Then to me, now that's got me questioning whether or not I should even freaking stream tomorrow, whether or not I should even attempt to freaking do Ghost of the Deep. How many people are going to come and question whether or not what I'm doing is valid? You know, the guns that I'm utilizing, I would have to sit there and prove it every freaking single time. This is a legit build. This is a legit build because guess what? I've got a freaking crafted secondary weapon. I've got a crafted primary. Almost every single one of my heavy weapons, with the exception of Laser Painter, is crafted. So at that point, it throws everything I'm doing into question. And to be under the microscope of the fucking Destiny 2 community, which I'm gonna say, hot take here, a lot of the Destiny 2 community is hypocritical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 100%. That's not hot. That's just
because
that's not a hot take. That's just
the,
fact. That's just fact.
Yeah, that is a
because
fact.
because here's the thing. The same people that will fucking lord over other players that they got freaking solo or they got flaws of this, 9 times out of 10 will look for fucking cheeses. Now, I'm not saying that it's everybody, okay? There are some legit players out there. There's some people that do have integrity and do fucking meet the challenge with the skill. And hey, you get it, you got it, you're fucking golden. But the same people that will sit there and freaking use the freaking exploit, use this opportunity that Bungie has deemed free pass, will fucking come back and be overly critical of anybody that is attempting to fucking do it legit and question them just to be that ass.
Oh yeah, definitely. But this is what I said. I've said it 1,000 times on here. Like when players hit the wall, they're gonna do
they
one
will look
of
for
3 to 4
anything and
things.
everything.
They'll either ask for help, and if they can't get help, they'll go pay somebody to do it for them, which is why we have the recurve problem we have.
Exactly.
And if that doesn't work, then they start to look for exploits and cheats to get it done. And if that doesn't work, then they just give up and say, fuck it.
Hell, look what we see every weekend in Trials as it is. The amount of, if you open the Destiny app right now and you look, not only will you see people begging for like people to join them with the Ambit squad, that way they can just like burn everyone down. But on a normal Trials weekend, the LFG app, all you see is please carry me. I've never been to the lighthouse. Please carry me. I've never been to the lighthouse. Because people just want to go see Satan open the chest. They will do whatever it takes. You'll see, please, I'll pay you. Please help me. Please, I've never been to the lighthouse. It happens all the time. So people are going to look for any avenue, and you're going to see, especially because there's no card-based matchmaking, you're about to see all hell break loose in Trials this weekend. If Bungie don't turn this shit off, it's about to be a nightmare for anybody who can't figure out how to do it.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Like, because this is a true TWID and like mirror to your face moment for the Destiny community. And I've been saying it for months. Like, this community does not care about a meritocracy. People just care about the loot. And they want their loot to be like prestigious. But they themselves will use any way to get it, so long as they can have it and other people can't.
Pretty much. Honestly,
and now people are starting to see, like, people don't give a fuck how they get their Trials flawless. They just care that they got it. So that they can lord around with their Trials God roll adept and say, look at my Trials adept that I got, that I paid like 3 months of like recubs to get. Or like I've been running around with streamers just to get it. Like, and I cheated like even my way to it.
Like what was it? The first game that like because me and some of the clan mates before we knew about the glitch just tried to go into Trials. We ran into a team which was 2 people, no exotics on. They were like new light players, but one of them had an adept weapon and didn't really know how to use it, and they were being carried by a streamer. And it was like, I don't even remember the streamer's name. They had TTV in their name. But it was like, we creamed them because they were leaning so hard on that person to get them the way to the lighthouse. And that's what we face in this community. People are begging. People are just trying to get there. You saw on Crota, people were paying websites. People were paying people hundreds of dollars just for the emblem. People were willing to pay Cash App, PayPal, whatever you got to get to the lighthouse. So it's one of those situations of people don't care how they get it, they just want it. And it ruins the integrity of the game and what it means in a lot of the times. So it very much is one of those situations of like, and like MC Monkey said in my TikTok chat, my first flawless was a carry, but it didn't feel great, so I was determined to get solo flawless. And like, yeah, but some people just love they got a gun. and it be like that. So
Yeah,
it,
it really
it
do.
matters
Like,
where you draw your line in the sand, to be honest.
that's why I constantly advocate for accessibility of solo players and low skill players, because at the end of the day, like, when we talk about the meritocracy and the prestige of a lot of the stuff in this game, like, people only aim their vitriol at the bottom. Like, as we say in the military, shit rolls downhill, never up. So it tends to be like, look at, like, we can't make this accessible for lower skill players, because then you diminish the true worth of the thing. But then when an exploit like this happens, you're seeing content creators, you're seeing streamers, like high skill players taking advantage of it. And right now, and this doesn't diminish the true value of the thing to them, because they get it all out. And it's never
they're just dicking around. They're having a great time.
Exactly. And that's a conversation that needs to be had. Oh dear.
And like, and Jolly just said in the chat, low skill players aren't supposed to reach flawless, just like low skill players can't get a solo flawless dungeon. It's called hard work. And I agree with that statement. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. But at the same time, I've been saying, I made a TikTok a while back that the minute Bungie created the original flawless seal and made it say you have to carry 2 people to the lighthouse, that's what diminished the community right there. Or like that literally diminished the entire system right there. And that's what created carry culture for a lot of people, was the minute you had to do this carry to get the seal, that's what caused this entire market of people who just want to carry. So it's just what it is. And yeah. So that's where we're gonna leave that. It's very but Tower, do you have anything you want to put on this? Because I know you've been kind of like just chiming in behind folks, but do you have, like, where's your line in the sand, Tower? How do you feel about this?
I have to agree with Sammy and what Cajun said about them, because and what Cajun said about doing his solos, it almost feels like, now I'm unable to craft it because I can't change the settings. The big thing about this, the big thing about this bug is that you can only really do it if you can change your frame rate settings. And I'm on console, so I can't change my frame rate settings. Some people can with a newer console, but on an Xbox One, you can't. So I'm locked out from being able to do that. And it makes it feel like, as someone who is unable to take advantage of the situation and the fun that Bungie is allowing people to do at this point, it feels like it's hollow, like Cajun said. It feels like you would be questioned at every turn with any crafted weapon, whether it's a legendary or an exotic or whatever. And that doesn't make it fair to the vast majority of people who do play on console. PlayStation is only PC is only a certain percentage, and newer consoles like PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X's and S's, where you can change the frame rate settings, they're a smaller population than people who are playing on older consoles like Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4s. So there is a population of people who will be locked out from being able to take advantage of that, but they'll still be questioned if they use a crafted weapon.
She's right, yeah.
So it feels hollow. It feels like, well, why should everyone else get a chance to use this, but those of us who can't are still going to be treated like we did anyways? Like, that's not okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. So yeah, it very much is a divisive situation, and it very much just comes down to, where do you draw your line in the sand?
Okay, I'm back.
I didn't even know you left.
Yeah, we had a bit of an issue outside there for a second. I don't know. It's all right.
Oh, I hope everything's
Gotta love
okay.
real life.
Oh, yeah, everything's all right.
So, it very much is one of those situations. So we're going to go ahead and move on from this. We're going to go ahead and move on to the TWID, because the TWID is already spicy in its own right. Because,
Ooh, this is
yeah.
going to be fun.
All right, kids, let's have a conversation. Now, Bungie made an interesting choice, and they even made it the thumbnail of the TWID. Bungie is deciding to remove and deprecate legendary shards from the game. And what their reasoning behind this is they're saying we have too many currencies in the game. We have a really crappy economy where veteran players have tons of legendary shards and newer players don't have a lot of legendary shards. So we're going to deprecate all of it. And in that process, not only are we going to make our main currency Glimmer, but we are going to raise the engram requirements for a lot of things, such as for legacy weapon focusing. You need 5 engrams. For Iron Banner weapon crafting, you need 5 engrams. For Nightfall weapons, you need 5 engrams. For Trials weapons, you need 5 engrams. And that part specifically has a lot of people upset. The majority of the community is very much like, whatever, about the shards. But a good chunk of the community is like, hey, what the hell? Why are you raising prices like this? Just because you're getting rid of legendary shards. And yeah.
So now the catch everybody up too. The Destiny team did respond yesterday and stated, we see the feedback. Yeah, they quote tweeted the TWID and said, we see the feedback on legendary shard removal regarding Glimmer and the prices of focusing. As part of this change, we are also be increasing drops of Glimmer, ritual engrams, Iron Banner engrams, and materials of other kind across the many parts of the game. This is an early look at the plan, and final values are still being tweaked. Our goal is to put greater emphasis on earning rewards by playing Destiny the way y'all want. So they are aware. Okay, so they are aware that that the legendary shards is one aspect that is got, once again, the community a bit divided as far as like, is this good, is this bad? But what they plan to replace it with, they are definitely acknowledging the feedback on like, okay, hey, yeah, we need to make sure that Glimmer's easily accessible, that we're not going to be causing another problem by removing shards. And now everyone relies on Glimmer, and it's either you're going to have the very knowledgeable players know how to get Glimmer quickly, and then the new lights returning players don't know how to acquire it quickly, and they're in that that poor man's state of life.
Because that was the whole thing that had me confused to begin with. Because it's like, oh, the whole reason you want to deprecate shards is because older motherfuckers have them and newer motherfuckers don't. But my thing was, Glimmer is already hard to come by for everybody, let alone newer players versus old players. Ever since they deprecated Rainmakers, it's been a pain in the ass to get Glimmer as it is, especially when you cap it at 250,000. And then when you lock it there and you can't get any more, it's very frustrating. So I was already going to say from jump, hey, if you're going to get rid of shards, raise the Glimmer cap. So good on Bungie for updating that. But back to what I was originally going to say about this before I got the update. Thank you, Cajun.
Welcome.
Excuse me. I don't understand why we keep deprecating things. And I understand Bungie's like, we need to make things simpler because people get confused about things. No! Shut up! I hate that. I hate that so much. We need to stop acting like people have pea-brain sized capacities and can't handle stuff in an RPG. This is an RPG
yeah, if my
shooter.
kid can figure out how Glimmer works at 9 years old and how
Right.
freaking engrams and stuff like that works. When he started playing at 9 years old, anyone can figure it out. You're just being lazy. Sorry.
And it's like I've had a few people come through my different Twitch chat and then TikTok chat asking, how do you get more legendary shards? And I'm more than happy to answer them because truth be told, we've talked about this before. This feels more like a failure on Bungie's part. Bungie has failed to tell people how to get these things in game. So that's a failure on Bungie's part to a certain extent. Hell, some people are still confused how to get phantasmal fragments and dark fragments. So that's a failure on Bungie's part in that regard. But in terms of the main core issue, we're deprecating a core currency. This feels as if we're deprecating the dollar and only giving people pennies. And it feels really freaking weird. And we're like, oh, we're punishing the people who dedicated the time to play the game. And then saying, hey, because the newer people don't have like dollars, we're gonna delete your dollars and delete their dollars and leave you with pennies, and then make it so you can hold more pennies.
Though.
And it's
not necessarily that simple though. Like you also got to think about the fact that Bungie has to create an economy that is meaningful and effective for the people with those hundreds of thousands of legendary shards, right? And to make a economy that's impactful for them makes it almost nearly impossible for the newer players who don't have any to even participate.
Then make more ways for them to get the currency. Then that's a flawed argument. Like make more ways.
Richer situation.
Make more avenues for them to get it. Also explain to the players how to get that
more
stuff.
Bloat. Because right now you have a whole bunch of players who got a bunch of like legendary shards during the different legendary shard farms and stuff like that.
I'll agree with that.
Sitting on a massive stockpile, right? And if you just give them more ways to make legendary shards, their stockpile just gets bigger, and then Bungie just has to continue to make drains for it. But those drains that they will never be effectively put out of will only make it harder on the players who have, the players who don't have those stockpiles.
But at the same time, though, when do we stop? When do we actually implement ways to teach people how to get these currencies? And B, when do we stop deprecating things? We've deprecated planetary materials, which were a core part of the game since D1 beta, which were that actually made worlds feel relevant. Like hell, Lightfall and Witch Queen were the first time that picking up a planetary material just gave you glimmer or seasonal rank or like vendor rank, and it felt very weird. But also, we're taking away what makes these planetary, like these planets, destinations unique. When was the last time anybody went to Nessus beyond getting the Div quest at all? Like honestly, like there was a reason to go to that planet because you had to get the material, or besides going to Rahul or like Spider. But like it made the world feel unique and alive by doing that. At the same time, I understand, like Nub said in chat, there's too many currencies. Then I like what Bungie did recently with the key system. They simplified what you need for seasonal activities. And Coop, I know the div quest on the moon, but you have to go to Nessus to complete it. Anyway, you like if they make a system that is understandable but not dumb it down.
Yep.
People like this feels as if somebody walked into World of Warcraft and deleted silver but left gold and bronze. Like it feels weird. We're taking away things that were core to the game over and over and over again because people don't understand them, rather than teaching them the mechanic. If you like, because even Paul Tassi said before, the inventory screen's too big or too small for so many things. That's great. Show people how to explain to people how to use it. Rather than going, hey, this person missed out on Forsaken. They don't know how to use a Dark Fragment, don't know how to use a Tincture of Queen's Foil, so we're going to punish them or punish people who learned the mechanics for that. Why not teach them with tutorials how to use and how to get those things? Like it feels like we're doing the reverse of what Pokemon started to do, where they held your hand constantly in like X, Y, Sun and Moon and forward, versus then we're just abandoning people and not teaching them. That's my frustration. We have no economy now. Rather than saying, "Hey, rich get richer, poor get poor," we're not teaching people how to use the economy. That's what I have a problem with.
I think
KJ,
it's actually a very good thing because we're moving to a currency that can't be stockpiled, which will get rid of the need for farming and hoarding. We're moving to a currency that is with a clear cap, easy to like maintain and gain. There are things inside the game that allow you to actually like trade in other things for this currency.
right?
Like as long as they fix like the drop rate and like since everybody's gonna be spending more glimmer more now, like they up the glimmer rate that you get and like equalize it. I think it'll be fair. I think it'll be a whole lot
I mean,
better.
it'll definitely be more
So,
fair.
to me, I hope that they do right by this. And what do I mean? Let's take Season of the Deep recently. Okay, when Season of the Deep came out, and they brought in fishing, which don't get me wrong, fishing is fucking great. I think it's a pretty cool thing for some of the more casual players. But if you've noticed, if you go to planets, you get no planetary materials. Now, why do I say that? As someone who did bounty prepping, and I went to Dreaming City, and what some of the patrols, or not patrols, bounties were for getting the planetary material, you got zero. No material, only a small touch of glimmer. And if you were under the 500 cap for the freaking bait, you would get bait. That's it.
Yep.
So since Season of the Deep, we have not gotten planetary materials on any planet.
Well, we haven't got planetary materials since before Lightfall. They deprecated Season of planetary materials a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. They put it out. They put it out in a TWID where they said, "Hey, we're getting rid of planetary materials, and then if you still have them, you can turn them into Rahul for Glimmer." They definitely. That's what I was saying. In my position.
Okay, so yeah, that was a miss. Okay, so that was a miss on my part, and also I came back.
I even said I don't like that.
I came back just before Lightfall too, so that was also my.
Yeah, I think that was at the beginning of Witch Queen. They did that, so. Or sometime during Witch Queen. Yeah, so that's why you wouldn't have known, hun. And that's okay.
And it's like I genuinely think that that's a miss on Bungie's part because half these destinations don't feel unique anymore. It doesn't
exactly. They're removing more and more reasons why you're not going back to these locations. Like right now, as it stands, as a player, I rarely go to freaking Nessus except for like when Zer's there.
Yeah, I'll even quote Dan John when he was on the podcast. When was the last time anybody gave a shit about failsafe? Ever? We don't even go there no more. Like that's what's frustrating about this. We're taking away what
failsafe got abandoned again.
Yeah, she did. Poor girl.
And it's an upset in chat to Panda's point about tutorials. We can't have someone on Rails for 4 hours learning the interface rather than shooting aliens. Why not? They need to have tutorial. Bungie has been criticized for so long.
I don't think it needs to be 4 hours.
No, definitely like 1 to 2 hours having a tutorial system. That would make a lot of fucking sense. But at this point, we take people through Shahan and then drop them off like in the world and go have fun, and we don't teach them anything, and it sucks. We've been like, but Destiny has been criticized for so long.
Themselves when they got rid of the Red War campaign.
Yep.
Because the Red War campaign did a really good job of teaching people like the expectation of how the game's gonna play.
Exactly.
But now that it's gone, and that was like a 10-hour campaign. It was a really good way to get it done. I feel like if they brought that back for players or something like that back, I would be open to it. If that is how they make what is it? The final shape. I think that would be a really good introduction to new light players.
Say for ages, they bring Red War in, everything from year 1 back, but put it in a mission system. And they would get so much praise from the community, and they refuse to do it. And it's so frustrating.
But this is a genuine... Oh, go ahead.
And see, that's the thing. Red War campaign was by far one of the best like intros to freaking Destiny because it literally took you through your grenade, your jump, your class ability, super, all the various aspects. And then when, after the whole thing with Gull, starting from scratch, now think of it like, let's say they tweak it a little bit and they add in the 3.0 elements. They teach you about fragments. They teach you about aspects. That right there would be very beneficial. And then just like when you finally get to the tower, you meet Raul. Raul quickly explain Glimmer is part of this, etc. That right there would be, a way to bring someone new into Destiny.
And the thing about it is,
that would also be MMO 101.
And we need to move away from giant text frames. Nobody unless they're dedicated like me or Cajun or Tower, doesn't give a shit about these giant walls of text. You need to have people voice your characters. Bring someone new into voice shacks and teach people about game modes. Bring somebody into voice, like bring Rahul's voice actor back. Have fucking Hawthorne say something about clans besides just, hey, how's your clan going? Or you just never quit, do you? Took out Gaul, yada yada. Like, no. Have her say something else, damn it. Like, teach these people how to use these currencies, how to use these different mechanics, and not just be like, here's a wall of text. No one's gonna read that. Come on.
I'm gonna say I agree with you, but also at the same time, that also is like another can of worms in regards to another heavy topic going on in the world as far as like strikes and whatnot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I said, that's another can of worms, and that I'm not trying to.
Well, like we just got to the point where like video game voice actors and video game writers are being brought into that equation. Like I'm speaking from a generalized standpoint. In a world where people are getting paid for their shit, which pay your actors and your writers, goddamn it. But like that's a whole other can of worms. Like Cajun said. I think Bungie's biggest problem right now is we're not teaching people how to use their stuff. And that's what they're expecting Bive to teach people about lore. And hell, to the point, Blackbird made a joke about it during the Final Shape after party. He was like, "We don't want to put Bife out of a job. Why not? Bife shouldn't be the one explaining everybody the lore. Hire Bife.
No.
Tower. We're talking from like a generalized standpoint. Hire people who give a shit about the lore. Have them be the ones to explain people this shit. Hire Mylan. I don't give a shit. Somebody. Not Mylan.
Mylan has worked with them before. Mylan's the reason why we have the Destiny 2 Grimoire Part 1.
That's awesome. So it's very much a situation of like they need to bring people in who can explain this stuff to people in game. We've been advocating for a bulletin board in the game for a while. Like, do you know how many people would listen to like a video screen? Like, instead of fucking Jisoo Colorado being at Neomuna, hire fucking Astacross to be like, another week, boys, and another twab, and have him tell people what the fuck the news is, instead of them reading a wall of text. Because then you wouldn't have problems and trials, like people still thinking the flawless pool is a thing. People still thinking different mechanics.
You still would.
To a certain extent. But like there should be ways to go about that. There needs to be more accessibility when it comes to teaching people about the game and in dealing with that. And Past Nation, we're not gonna like get at all that. That's not for here. It's divisive. It's behind the scenes. We're not. This ain't the show for that. But yeah,
what? What's not the show for?
We'll tell you later. But so it's very much a situation of like, teach people how to use shit.
Nothing wrong with Bife.
So it's very much a situation.
Beg to differ, but this isn't the place or time. So
that's what I'm saying. Like this isn't the place for that. So it's a situation of we need, rather than deprecating things, we need to teach people how to use shit. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I feel like. Go ahead. I feel like we talked as much as we can on it before we hit an impasse. Let's move on. I know we got some goddamn nerfs to get into.
Oh yeah, it's about to be
oh boy.
Look, Panda's hot.
Here it comes.
I'm freaking hot. Oh yeah, you got two classes right now. They're about to lose their proverbial shit right now.
All right, so
and I'll let Panda go first.
So I have been talking about it on TikTok. I've talked about it on stream, and I am pissed. But no one's gonna listen to me. But I'm still gonna bitch anyway. So, long live the sandbox, Bungie says. Coming in later in season 22. Antaeus wards are being nerfed, where they're saying these will now require full class ability energy to reflect the incoming damage. Reflecting damage will deplete your class ability. The goal is to reduce the uptime of this exotic effect and also make it more difficult to stack it with Juggernaut Shield. Now.
They really did.
PvP players, let's have a conversation because I'm getting really tired of y'all. This game is not Call of Duty. What do I mean by that? Because I've talked about this on TikTok, I've talked about it on stream. Let's have a conversation. This game is a looter shooter RPG. Hell, Bungie has even called it an MMORPG before. This is not your standard FPS. There is a class system in this game where you have a rogue, a mage, and a knight. They are going to do different things with their different abilities and different exotics. The whole point of Antaeus, the Greek, the Greek myth of Antaeus, the character, was that he was invincible when he was on the ground. So Antaeus Ward's entire purpose was that it was able to, if you got enough momentum by running, you then slid and were invincible when you did it. People started to abuse this in a high-level play and started to go, hey, we can counter fusion rifles and counter SMGs, which were the actual problem, by the way, and actually needed to be dealt with. And they would use it to bridge the gap and close the gap and be able to counter those. And it got to a point now where we have now said, hey, people have started to say this is too busted. However, prior to the SMGs and fusion rifles being a problem, nobody gave a shit about Antaeus wards. Because back when they first came out, they were able to be slid and activate the shield without no momentum. So people started running into walls now to trigger it and then have automatic slide. But Bungie made it with Juggernaut when Juggernaut first came out that you can't run into walls. So why wasn't that the fix? People that's what Bungie should have did rather than doing this, because Juggernaut already takes away your class ability when you use it. So now people are like, just do it with Antaeus wards too. You took away class ability from Stompies. They're not the same thing. They're two different things. So why not?
No.
So why not let them do different things and stop nerfing everything? Because we're at a point now where Titans have been nerfed in every way, every which way, because people see, oh, Bungie wants Titans to be this way in PvP, so we're going to abuse these different things in PvP because Bungie said it's okay. Like Arc Titan. Bungie said in the Arc 3.0 TWAB, or back when it was a TWAB, that we want Arc 3.0 Titan to be very PvP oriented.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, okay, cool, so we're going to go abuse this. And the amount of people that have told me, I made Warlock, I made Hunter, but Titan's too good not to use. And it's gotten to a point where Arc 3.0 Titan has been nerfed multiple times. And it's so frustrating. And to a point where, like, if you look at the usage numbers for Arc or for Titan in general, you have Arc Titan at like 80%. You have Void Titan at like 20-ish% because of Bubble being good in trials. But in general, Void Titan is actually hurting because the melees suck. The gameplay for it is very static, where all you're using is the overshield and the bubble. And it's only being augmented by your neutral game exotics like Synthoceps, which we'll get to, One-Eyed Mask, Dune Marchers, and Antaeus Wards. So people are using Void to do whatever the fuck they have, Peacekeepers, to do whatever they want with Void and fix the problems Bungie hasn't addressed. And then you look at Solar, Strand, and Stasis that are at like 1.2, 1.2, and 0.8 respectively, percentage-wise.
Yeah.
And it's super sad because if you look at Hunter and Warlock, they have huge percentages in almost every other subclass. And it's like, why is that a thing? Because there's no issues with their subclasses. Almost every Titan melee, it does not do high damage like the other melees. The gameplay loops like Shoulder Charge have been nerfed multiple times because Bungie nerfed Shoulder Charge. That way it couldn't one-shot. Cool. So people stopped using it for that. And people started saying, hey, we'll use it as movement tech. And then people bitched and complained for so long that now it's not being used as a movement tech because it got nerfed. I mean, then Bungie may take some of your melee energy. Now people are like, hey, we don't like that Titans can use their barricades. So let's advocate for Bungie to get rid of barricades. People, it's an RPG. Titans are allowed to use their barricades. Well, it slows down combat. That's the point.
Oh,
yeah. It's
like I've been saying. Like I've been saying. I've been saying it for a while. Like, look, you can't use nerfs to circumvent like your
lack of ability.
Exactly.
Like,
and it's
this
so
is exactly
frustrating.
the treatment that hunters have been getting for like years in this game. I'm glad that somebody else is getting it, not the hunters.
But at the same time, it's like we're getting to a point now where people have bitched and moaned about Titans so much that even the people who like me who have been dedicated Titan mains since D1, and I play the other classes too, don't get it twisted, because I play them for raids and for PvP as well. Like people who are dedicated Titan mains are about to be left with nothing because you just complained so fucking much. You want this to be Call of Duty so bad because you enjoy the gunplay of Destiny.
We're about to get a PvP mode called Checkmate that is essentially Call of Duty, but with Destiny 2 guns.
And it's so frustrating.
Don't get me wrong. There's part of me that is very interested in this to see how it plays out, because I'm going to say this, Destiny 2 has a far better gunplay system than Call of Duty, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, and Treyarch could ever fucking pull off.
Right.
Okay. And to see that in a low ability use, low super use field, I think is going to be very, very interesting. And the second bit is that we're going to have a higher increased health pool. So we're not going to have the issue of the low TTK weapon situation.
But what you're going to see is everybody go, hey, we enjoy this new checkmate mode where abilities aren't being used, supers aren't being used. Bungie, can you make this the standard? And it's going to do so much damage to the game and how people view this game. Do you want Destiny gunplay in a PvP setting with no abilities? Cool, wait for Marathon. Stop punishing people who enjoy the ability plus gunplay system of Destiny. Stop, like, if you want to play that game, wait for Marathon or go play Call of Duty. That's what's so frustrating about this. So,
but I think, some of us have even mentioned this before, that freaking a lot of the things that Bungie's been doing as far as Destiny 2, they've been sitting here testing for Marathon. Let's be for real. They've got a sandbox. We are that sandbox, and we are their guinea pigs in the PvP sense when it comes to freaking, Marathon and what they're going to be utilizing. Let's not fool ourselves.
Yeah. Now, that was my little rant about that. Young Ahamkara Spine. We are reducing its impact.
Bungie, what the frick?
Now, hold on. We are reducing its impact on grenade uptime by making it grant energy on final blows instead of damage. Now, here's what I'm going to say before I let David and Cajun cut loose. This was needed but only
No, it
in
wasn't.
PvP.
It
Because
wasn't.
the amount of times that I have dealt with being behind a barricade and being or even just running down the lane in PvP and being one shot, and then because of how high their discipline is, they're then rewarded and getting 2 more back to back is a problem. It's too much uptime. There needed to be somewhat of a fix for this, or even when I'm about to like 1 HP and they get almost the whole grenade back, there needed to be some sort of fix for this. What I don't agree with, and what I think Cage is going to say, is that it's punishing people in PvE as well, and it's a problem. We need to separate the sandboxes.
Yeah.
And actually have it be where PvP and PvE changes are separate. And Bungie has proven they could do this before. So I don't know why they're not doing it. But yeah.
And that right there, they essentially killed a PvE build. Now, I mean, granted, it's no freaking secret or mystery. I'm a PvE player. I do occasionally play like Iron Banner because there is some good loot to chase there that has potential for PvE. But that's it.
Right.
That's it. I just don't like, for me, for time and investment, I don't feel that PvP is worth my time, and I'll die on that hill. But you just killed an amazing build in the PvE sense, especially when it came to boss damage, because the freaking cycle, the rotation was there and it was freaking great. And now it's like, okay, great. For the sake of PvP, you just shit on PvE players. It's like, Bungie, you showed us time and time again that you were able to separate these two sandboxes.
Yeah.
Either clarify that this is only for PvP or explain why you just fucking screwed over the PvE base.
Yeah.
All
right.
And I'll be honest. Yeah. Oh, Dave, I'll go ahead and let you.
No, yeah,
welcome to be a hunter.
Welcome to being a hunter. This is how it works. People find one thing that they don't like, and then they complain and complain and complain because they don't like to go up against it. And instead of learning how to play against it and counter it, they legitimately just say, "Hey, Bungie, nerf it." And so
now
many
that's a different way of problem.
What happens? Look at the Stompies. Stompies have been nerfed like how many times in this game? It is nothing that they can really do.
Now, but like when it comes to Spine, though, Spine kind of fell in the same category as the Monarch, where the damage it did was not recoverable in PvP. Even even if you wanted to disengage from combat, the AOE of the trip mine grenade is so vast that there was no way to really recover from it because of how much damage it does. So by the time they throw it, it hits you. You're at one HP. They pop you with one bullet. It's over. Now, if it was similar to lightning grenades on our class, where it only did a certain amount of damage because it's gonna pulse, that would be different. But it doesn't. Same thing with Le Monarch. The reason why Le Monarch got nerfed is people would hit you with one bow shot. You're like out of combat for like 3 seconds, and if you don't react fast enough, they've done switched to a hand cannon and popped you, and it's over. So there's no way for you to really counter that. I think the Spine nerf was necessary, but not in PvE. I definitely agree with Cajun on that.
Player behavior needs to change. If you see people throwing around Spine fucking grenades, you need to change how you engage with those people. Don't just run in there because you feel like you could possibly beat them. Change how you engage with them. Same way with Ed Tates. Change how you engage with the player that's running the thing you don't like. Don't just say, hey, nerf it so I can continue to play the way I want to play. I want to run hand cannon shotty, and this shuts my shit down. Bungie, change it.
No, but the thing about that is though, I still think that the trip mods do like decent damage, but similar to other grenades, it should still do good damage while also being able to disengage from it. One grenade being able to one shot you, or even because how many times have we ran into situations where a hunter just chucks that thing downfield and you're just dead? There's no way to react. There's no way to do anything. There's no way to do anything. Even if you change player behavior, there's top tier players that have been taken out by trip mines because there's no way to do anything. Hell, there's times where you think you've disabled a trip mine, you can't do any more damage to it, but Bungie let it glitch it and you still die from it. There's a problem with how much
we can talk about. If it's glitching, a problem like that where you destroy it, but it's not destroyed, that should be fixed. But you don't have to outright nerf the entire thing and take away the entire exoticness of the thing. Because now you just got stronger you got an exotic that gives you a stronger trip mine. Good job.
No, but it doesn't give you a stronger trip mine. What it does is it refunds the energy based on how much damage you do. But if you do like damn near one-shot damage plus 100 discipline, you already have another grenade ready to throw back at the next person, and they're just dead. So I'm saying I agree with getting it on kill.
In PvE, like if it's not going to be proportionate.
That's why I'm saying it shouldn't happen to PvE. I agree with you. I'm saying it shouldn't happen to PvE. That's not fair. I agree with Cajun. I agree with you. It doing a PvE is too much. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Yeah.
I'll let it fly. It is what it is. I'll give it to you.
All right. So coming in season 23, SMGs, we will be globally increasing the recoil on SMGs to make it more of a costly trade-off to spec into range over stability. Thank God, because man, the Bungie keeps trying to nerf SMGs, and they still doing bad work. So good job on Bungie. Now, excuse me. Sniper rifles. We will be implementing a sniper rifle body shot nerf in Crucible. Details to come soon. Sniper rifles are getting a damage buff in PvE. Hell yes. I have been begging for this for so long. I want it so bad for this to be a thing. I've been wanting like snipers to be good in PvE again for so long. I've been enjoying my succession in raids. I've been hyped for this. So good on Bungie. Fusion rifles. We will be decreasing the kickstart damage bonus. Thank God. Damage will also fall off harder at longer ranges. Thank God. Because I think, I'm waiting for Bungie to say we're taking away hit scan from fusions. Because hit scan from fusions was the worst thing we ever did. Because fusions are too viable now. They've been too viable ever since Main Ingredient came back in the game. Make it stop, Bungie. All right, airborne effectiveness. We will be increasing the airborne accuracy of sniper rifles and slug shotguns to be equivalent to pre-AE Icarus at their base values. Great. I love it. Love it. Love it. Now, time for Panda to get pissed again.
Nope.
Paragon Greaves. These now only grant bonus shoulder charge damage after being airborne for a short time. The goal is to ensure Paragon Greave users are visibly airborne to other players in order to benefit from the exotic effect. But in PvE, these will now provide significantly more bonus damage and refund your melee charge when used against champions, tormentors, and mini-bosses. Bungie. No one cared about this exotic in PvE, and no one's going to use this in PvE unless the shoulder charge damage is worth it. Unless you're going to buff shoulder charge in PvE, this doesn't matter. But also, this exotic was hardly ever used in PvP to begin with because people didn't care that much about using it just to make shoulder charge be worth it. Everyone just used it as a movement tech ever since you nerfed it. But also, it is so hard to make it trigger on base jump regardless right now that you have to be airborne for a second for it to work. So you're basically just saying we're making it harder to use a hard exotic. Why? It doesn't make sense. Now, Synthoceps. Here's where Bungie's Panda's gonna be the contrarian. I think them getting rid of the lunge distance is a good thing. Because we have had several conversations about how exotics or abilities giving you increased lunge distance is causing netcode issues. So I'm willing to part with that because Bungie's saying, hey, we're going to give Synthoceps back increased glaive damage. Praise the gods! The exotic that's supposed to have increased melee damage is gonna do the thing it's supposed to do. Yay!
Once again, I'm gonna say this. In PvP, yes, I agree. PvE, nah. Come on, Bungie. What the F?
It might be a netcode issue, and I'm okay with that. Now, to compensate, we're adding improved weapon handling and reload speed when you're surrounded. Yay! I'm cool with that. Now, since those steps are basically just affinity and aspect, but we also get the melee damage increase. Yay! Plus, we are getting more bonuses in the future. But that was pretty much
more exotic armor updates in season 23. Okay, well, I want to go back to one thing.
Okay,
sniper rifles.
Okay.
I've been seeing some very interesting takes on this, and definitely from the PvP aspect, that a lot of people are like kind of miffed that Bungie's going for nerfing the body shot in Crucible.
Interesting.
But I will say this. When it comes to snipers, absolutely, sniper rifle usage is a skill thing. Okay. Yeah. You should be absolutely rewarded for nailing the freaking headshot. And if you do, that's freaking great. You are freaking that. You are that guy. You are that person. You are that gal. You are the cracked. And it should be absolutely rewarding when you hit it. But then again, when you see freaking the nice little clips where freaking person A is right in front of you and your shot somehow goes off and to the left, but yet you get rewarded with the freaking headshot, it's like, man,
that's not okay. That's not okay.
Yeah, that's a not okay situation. But also, as someone, I'm with you, freaking, I'm ecstatic that sniper rifles are going to possibly have a place in PvE again.
Love that.
I'm freaking all down for it because there are so many times where I've wanted to use snipers, and hopefully they're going to be in a good place where they're viable in places like GMs and stuff.
Yeah. Because don't get me wrong, there's certain snipers like Succession or the Last Wish sniper or the Icleo sniper that are good for like DPS boss damage. But what if I just want to shoot a champion with a sniper rifle or shoot a major with a sniper rifle? Why can't I do that?
Basically your only option is to freaking utilize like Izanagi's burden with a freaking hone edge to freaking one tap a champ.
So it's kind of frustrating, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
But that was pretty, like, honestly, other than the drama and the TWID, that was pretty much it. It's been a pretty short week, like in terms of craziness. Yeah, that was a pretty dope show, to be honest. So I want to leave my closing statement with for the week. Where do you draw your line in the sand, people? That's how I feel about that. Where do you draw your line in the sand? David, what do you want to leave the people with for this episode?
You know what? I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Like, look, hey, let's just try to have fun with the game. I feel like there's a lot of back and forth that is taking away from the fun. Like, we have two completely different, like, skill ranks, I guess I'll say, that are vying for control of the game. Let's just try to make the game fun for everybody. And even if that means that it doesn't necessarily end up fun for you in some places, let's think about the health of the game. And I'll just leave it at that.
Sorry, I'm making weird faces because I'm looking at Destiny Bulletin on Twitter and the different clips of the different combinations with these guns. Like, someone put trinary vision on Hollow Denial, and just the beam of grenades being shot out of this thing looks fucking insane.
No.
Also, if you turn your Apex Predator into a rapid fire frame, it instantly explodes. It won't even fire. It just instantly explodes and kills you. So that's
oh my
fun.
gosh,
that's fun.
That's hilarious.
It's very entertaining.
That's when you convince your person who's not on Twitter to make that build. Be like, oh, this is OP. You can go solo Crota with this.
Boom.
Only for them to go get a checkpoint and be like, what the hell?
I'm dead. Tower, what would you like to leave the people with?
think about the consequences of your actions, not just for
Ooh,
yourself, but
cool.
for the community as a whole.
That was a very mom statement there, Tower Mom. Good job. Okay. Changing how you feeling. What do you want to leave the people with?
So, for anyone that's feeling conflicted about the exploit going on, you're first and foremost, I want to say this right now, you're not alone. I am absolutely with you on this. Um, you know, this is definitely one of those things of like, look, if you're okay with using it, I'm not going to yuck your yum. Freaking do what you feel is right, or do what you feel is going to be okay, because clearly Bungie's given the okay. But if you feel that you using this exploit in any sort of PvE or even PvP is going to tarnish your integrity or your quote, your perspective of skill, then you're also valid as well. Okay. Everyone is responsible for themselves at the end of the day. And I, for myself, I will not choose to even attempt this exploit because I don't want any of my skill or my achievements called into question.
Respect.
At the end of the day, I enjoy the game. I enjoy the challenge that it provides me when I adhere to the challenge. So
I can respect that.
Fair enough. I must say I've worked too hard for a lot of my achievements in this game, and I ain't gonna mess with it. So, but so that's where we're gonna leave that. Folks, we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Well, it'll be a great time. We might have a guest. Well, we're gonna see what we can do. But we appreciate you guys for being supportive of the show. Don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter at Cosmodrome Radio. You can listen to the show the next day over on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever. You can also check out the new merch shop.cosmodromeradio.com. The brand new Crota Zen shirt is amazing, so definitely check that out. But we will be back next week with a brand new episode. So we will catch you guys on Starside. Peace out.